they want.
Joel Embiid continues to dominate with a 42-point performance last night. But of course, we are starting the show with the showdown between the Lakers with AD and the Brooklyn Nets. And King James had himself a game. He was all over the place, dunking on breakaways, buckets at the rim, hitting threes. Jalen, what do you think about LeBron?
No KD for the next couple of weeks. No Kyrie at home games. LeBron back in New York, understanding the bright lights, the big stage, and to continue to be dominant. We're going to have a lot of conversations this year about the most valuable player.
Yep.
LeBron has spoiled us to the point where after 19 years, he doesn't get mentioned. He basically scoring at least 30 every night. And it was great to see AD return, in particular defensively. His activity, contesting shots, changing shots, blocking shots, being interior force. He didn't score big. I think he had 8 points maybe. Yeah, but his interior presence was a huge factor. Now, for the Lakers at 500, luckily for them, they didn't get buried by the West. Many teams have dealt with injuries, and so now they're in striking position to try to at least get towards the top 4 if they could get on a win streak. But you and I have already distinguished the Western Conference has levels. And for me, it's the Phoenix Suns, the Golden State Warriors. And then there's Memphis, Utah, and the Los Angeles Lakers are right there. And wins like this on the road to get you closer to get you to 500. Now hopefully they can have some momentum and put a string of wins together.
I still believe in this Lakers team. I believe in them long term. I think they're going to put it together. I don't think they're going to trade Westbrook or do anything crazy. I believe in the Lakers. However, there were 2 teams playing last night, and you mentioned off the top, KD's out because he's got an MCL sprain. Kyrie's not playing because it's in Brooklyn. And James Harden, while he played great, he did lose, and he sounded like he was a little frustrated after the game. Here's what he had to say.
Of course, I'm frustrated because, we're not healthy. It's a lot of inconsistency for whatever reason, injuries, COVID, whatever you want to call it. But it's frustrating. I think everybody in this organization is frustrated because we are better than what our record is, and we should be, on the way up. So that's all it is. I don't know about the reports. If you didn't hear from me, I don't talk to nobody. I have an agent. if you don't hear from me, then it's reports. So, I'm frustrated because I want to win, and I'm a competitor. It's pretty simple.
Jalen, you've been hinting at this frustration all season long, and now you hear it from him. What did that sound say to you?
I told you so. And it also tells me that this big 3 isn't long term. I've been trying to say this to anybody that will listen. This is Kyrie's 3rd season playing. KD missed the 1st season because he was injured. This is James Harden's 2nd season playing. He didn't dog it in Houston and ruin his reputation with the Houston Rockets to be a member of the big 3, and one of the guys is a part-time player. You heard what he said. The inconsistencies, the injuries, and COVID or whatever.
Whatever.
You heard what he said. And, dog, I'm telling you, me and you can be great teammates. We could be from the same hometown. We could have went to the same high school. We could be like this. But when we get bounced from the playoffs because you're a part-time player and you chose not to get vaccinated, that's going to affect our relationship. It's not going to be the same because you just heard why. He actually wants to win. And what member of the Nets big 3 has not won a championship yet?
That would be James Harden. And this doesn't seem like what he signed up for. I think he thought, I'm gonna go join KD and Kyrie, and we're gonna be like the Heatles. We're gonna be like the 73-win Warriors. We're gonna be like the circus when we come to town, packed arenas, media attention, long win streaks, dominating the Eastern Conference. That's what he signed up for, and that is not what he is seeing on the floor night in and night out for the Nets.
And I'm happy I'm seeing my 30-point triple-double James Harden. Because like Joel Embiid, same with James Harden, I can look at a player, Jacoby, and whether it's health or injury related, or whether it's they're not in the quality of shape they need to be. Both of those guys, and even Luka, are all rounding into shape. And you see when they're playing at optimal performance how dominant they are and can be. James Harden is one of the top 75 players in the history of the league. And so to him to be on the Nets and for him to be talking about his level of frustration, and you mentioned him not getting what he signed up for, Kyrie, they haven't offered him his long-term deal. And I don't believe this goes into next year. Let me just say this. I think this is the only year the Nets allow Kyrie to be a part-time player. I think that's the part everybody's missing, regardless of what happens. So if you Harden, you can't sign up for this long-term. The rules in New York seem to be getting more stringent, not lighter. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But I do still believe, after all of that said, the Nets have a golden opportunity to win the East this year, even with Kyrie as a part-time player.
I think so too, but we'll watch it play out.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll let the regular season play out. KD's got to come back and see what he looks like. Let's not jump the gun on predictions and everything, but you and I have some video that we need to review in detail. Let's go to the table. Jalen, there's something I love about Austin Reeves. Can't put my finger on it. There's something I really just appreciate about his game. And LeBron had some words for Austin Reeves. I need you to translate what LeBron is saying. I know you're a great lip reader. What's LeBron telling my man Reeves here?
He's saying, I'm going to do everything. All you got to do is catch it and shoot it, young fella. I'm going to buy the groceries. I'm going to cook the food. I'm going to set the table. I'm going to make sure that somebody else cleans up after us. All you need to stand right there. Yeah, right there. Don't pass go. Do not collect $200. You go stand right there. I'm going to feed you, and you make the shot. That's the translation.
Well put, Mr. Rose. You mentioned it earlier. You were talking about the MVP conversation. You were talking about the dominance of Joel Embiid, and Joel Embiid was dominant once again last night against the Pelicans. 42 points, Mr. Rose, and not just any old 42 points, 14 rebounds, 4 blocks, and just dominating the Pelicans.
So when I watch Joel Embiid like playing against current NBA players, I can't front in the way he moves and stuff. And I know he's more of a center and Macy's more of a power forward. But this is how C. Webb used to look playing against us. And so I'm dead serious. That's what it reminds me of, for real. Like, he going coast to coast behind the back. He like 260, man. Big hands, right? And Jokic is the most skilled big man in the game. Mm-hmm. Joel Embiid is the most physically dominant big man in the game. And now that he's been healthy, which keeps him in shape, no Ben Simmons, which means his activity is up and his usage is higher. Tobias Harris had a good game also. He's showing us why him and Jokic, how about this? Call an archaeologist. They're basically struggling, in my mind, who's going to be first team All-Pro at center. That's crazy, right?
Oh, yeah, they're both in the MVP conversation.
And all of that. Yeah, it's crazy, man. These dudes have been dominant.
They absolutely have as well, and you have to mention Giannis when you mention dominant big man, but obviously he's a different type of dominant big man. Jalen, the votes are in. David Ortiz.